We're live. We're live. We're live.
Good morning.
Like.
Good morning. Good morning. Happy Wednesday to you. Happy Wednesday to you. Hope you've been having a good week so far. Learning some things, doing some things, growing through some things.
Mm-hmm.
Today we have an interesting topic.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start with it.
Today is Wisdom Wednesday, and the topic is talk less, impact more. The secret skill of great leaders. One of my favorite leaders often says that you can listen your way into more sales than you can talk yourself into.
Sounds like something I say once or twice. I say it all the time. You listen yourself into more sales than you talk yourself into because I'm a sales guy. But it's
Hey,
interesting
Miss
that we're
Phyllis.
talking
Hey,
leadership today
Uzama.
because last night in Men of Exhort group, we talked about leadership and different types of leadership. And of course, I was participatory in that. I do list leadership as one of my three most important skills of life.
Hmm.
In my classic book, 932, the nine most important words, the three most important skills, and the two most important questions. But of the three most important skills in my book, they're not number one, two, three, but the three most important skills, they're all number ones, is the ability to communicate, the ability to sell, and the ability to lead. Lead is one of the top three essential skills that you must master. Not only leading others, but leading yourself as if you work for yourself. Or even more appropriate, or even better, is leading the way Colossians 3:23 and 24 would have you to lead. Lead as if your direct supervisor is God. Lead as if God is directing you or watching you do it.
We're going to talk about that and more right back after these messages. We'll be right back. And oh, yeah, today is Wisdom Wednesday.
And at
Oh,
9:15, if you've
no.
never been here before, on a Wednesday at 9:15, you're in for a treat because we're going to be regaled by whatever our inspirational speaker, Mr. Mark Greer, wants to share with us.
Good morning. My name is Brian McNeill.
And I am LisaSantiagoMcNeilll.
And thank you for joining us on our show, Let's Talk About It. We come to each Monday through Friday right here on the SIBN network, on iHeartRadio, YouTube, TuneIn, as well as Facebook Live. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Like.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Talk less and impact more. This is one of the pieces of wisdom that has taken so many different forms of expression. Back in the olden days, I want to say back in the 80s, uh, I remember saying, dazzle them with brilliance or baffle them with BS, right? So often, being quiet is actually seen or perceived as more wise than opening your mouth.
You've seen it happen before when meetings are going on or karate flick, everybody's fighting. The one guy is just standing there, not doing anything, not saying anything. Everyone can't wait to hear what this person has to say. You've seen it on panel discussions.
When E.F. Hutton talks,
people listen.
Everybody listens.
Now,
that's old too.
But when you been in the conference,
hey, Fashina, good morning, Dr. Deborah. Good morning, Dr. Beverly. Good morning, Uzama. Good morning, Miss Phyllis. I'm sorry, baby. Go ahead.
You could be in a meeting or conference and you have the one who keeps quiet and let the fray go on until they decide what to say. And normally they don't have much to say, but whatever they say, it's going to be impactful. You know, I saw a scene about the titans that built America. We had the richest men in the world, J.P. Morgan, Andrew Carnegie, John D. Rockefeller, all in a room, and they're troubled by this new candidate who might become president. And J.P. Morgan just sat there while they was debating back and forth what to do about the problem, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, okay, I've heard enough. This is what we're going to do. And that's what they did.
Mhm.
Okay. He didn't have to open his mouth until he had all of the information.
Good
And
morning,
then he made a
Sheila.
decision.
Question says silence is golden. Absolutely.
Silence is golden. Good morning, Katura. Good morning, Sister Poshina. Good morning, Sister Sheila Gothard. Who else is in the room? Dr.
Sometimes
Beverly's in the
it's
room, I think.
difficult. Yeah, Dr. Beverly, Dr.
Dr. Deborah, good
Deborah,
morning. Miss Phyllis
Uzama
is here.
Phyllis. I'm
Uzama's
so
here.
glad you guys are all here today.
I can't wait to hear what you got to say about this topic.
So, so I think that I have seen or experienced the wisdom of just being quiet. Be quiet, take in the information. That's right. Silence is strength. You don't have to be the loudest person in the room, and you don't have to even be sitting in the right place, the right positioning in the room. However, when you are asked to provide feedback, you've been listening to everything that has been going on, and hopefully you're able to use some of the wisdom that was shared and then incorporate it under your evaluation, feed it back in such a way that it all makes sense. Because I believe that particularly when you're at a good table, right? When you're at a particularly important table, like a think tank or a mastermind, that there's going to be some wisdom coming out of everyone at that table. When you can acknowledge that, then I think you become the most wise of all.
Absolutely. It's almost an adage, and it's a corny adage, but we have two ears and one mouth. Why is that? Because God wants you to listen twice as much as you talk. Now, it's funny, but we do have two ears for a reason. We don't have just one big ear. We got two different ones, okay? The two different ears on the side of the head, it helps with depth perception too, by the way. The way they're positioned helps us to determine how far away the noise is or how far away the potential danger is. That's why our ears are positioned the way they are. You know, if we hear it louder, we know that that danger might be closer to us.
Mhm.
It's a protectionism that we have. So what say you? Why did you, I believe most of you guys are going to agree with this point that talking less and impacting more is an important skill and listening is an important skill. But what say you about it? How have you seen that show up in your life? Listening skills. And go ahead, baby.
I was just going to say good morning, Jen.
Good morning, Jay. And I will tell you, people forget how to be good listeners, but they get reminded really easily. When I begin to talk, Lisa seen me do it 100 times at least. I understand that the audience is waiting to hear me speak, but they may not be ready to receive it. Okay. At first, they want to be tickled. They want to be entertained first because they don't want it to be boring. They don't want you to be just another boring speaker. So first, you have to give them something that's interesting. And what I do first is I ask tricky questions at first. I'll say, this is my opening line. By show of hands, how many people here have either heard me speak before or this is your first time?
Good morning,
Now,
Jennifer.
how often have you heard me say that? Of my speeches that I give, what percentage do you say I open with that? About 100% of the time. Why would I do that? Because it does two things for me. One is tricky, but it also prompts their we got to listen more attentively part of their brain. Because it's a tricky question. How many of you have either heard me speak before or this is your first time? Now, it's everyone in the room because they all have either heard me before or this is going to be their first time. But I never get 100% of the hands raised because they're not ready to receive yet.
Thank you, Jennifer. She says, I'm working, but I'll be popping in and out to listen and comment. Well,
Jennifer, we appreciate whatever moments you give us.
Sarah, I appreciate it. She said, I pride myself on the practice of listening over speaking, and I can attest to that being true, actually.
And I love how she worded it. She prides herself on it. Okay? Right now. Okay, I just want to see what was above Couture. I didn't see it. What's the one right above Couture's top? Okay, Jennifer Robinson. Good morning to the Exor family. Okay, cool. We got it. Good morning, Exor family. We are a part of that. Yes. All right, go ahead now. Okay, cool. Shouts out to Lisa's cool new mouse. It's actually it's not flat. It's actually angled up vertically on an angle, so it makes it easy for her hands to do, which is
Dr. Beverly
more
says,
challenging for me to do from this side.
when you become a good listener, you become a greater answer to the person that's full of whys.
Now, do you, all of you watching here, do you consider yourselves a good listener? If you believe you're a good listener, me in the comments, or yes, I'm a good listener in the comments. Put that you believe that you're a good listener. Put it in the comments, please.
So it says, I learned patterns, truth versus untruth, not necessarily recognized by the speaker. Hey, Glenda Kroll.
Glenda Kroll, if you don't know Glenda Kroll, if you're a woman over the age of 40 and you want a shift in your life, if you want to go from whatever you've been doing to a more dynamic life, a more prosperous life, Glenda Kroll, you should reach out to her. Because what she does is she takes women over 40, listens to their stories, and she helps them to transmute their story into a wealth machine. Her primary tool to do this is real estate and real estate investing. But it's not just that. Glenda Kroll will listen to you and help women over 40 to transmute the rest of their lives into more prosperous, more dynamic lives. Is that close to true, Ms. Glenda Kroll?
So Sheila, thank you, Sheila. She says yes, she's a listener.
Good.
And Dr. Deborah says, when I'm sitting in on a budget meeting in DC, I tend to be quiet and listen a lot. I speak up when what I have to say is said to clarify or make a difference. As a woman of color, this has been my superpower.
Amen.
Absolutely.
Amen.
And Glenda goes on to say, yes, I am a good listener. Dr. Beverly says, I had to become a good listener because of my calling. Amen. And she goes on to say, go, Glenda.
Mm-hmm.
You're
Glenda
very
says,
welcome.
thank you. And yes, that's what she does. How do I know that's what Glenda does? Because I've been around her enough. I'm a part of a mastermind group on Wednesday mornings that Glenda's also a part of. I've also had one-on-one conversations with Glenda, and I see her, and everyone says this about her. They all say they see her passion, and they see how much she really, really means what she says, and how competent she is. So that's what everyone says about her. She knows what she's doing, and she can get it done through you. Now, all of you guys who think you're good listeners, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this part of it, but I'm going to give you a chance to prove that you're a good listener. I'm going to ask you one series of questions. I'm going to run the listening game. One listening game. How about that?
Uzama says, I'm usually the quietest one on my team at school. Most of my classmates are half my age, but super smart, and they know everything.
Of course they do.
So I let them do all the talking, until I have something to say. Amen. And Glenda says, we're all here to listen and learn from each other. Amen.
That's right. So here's the game. The game starts right now. Let's say that you are a bus driver. And on your first stop, you pick up 4 passengers. You don't have to write, just have to listen. On your second stop, you pick up 4 more passengers. On your third stop, you pick up 2 passengers. And on your fourth stop, 5 passengers. Get off of your bus. Now, I hope all of you listen to what I just had to say. Now, the question is, what is the bus driver's name? And put it in the chat. What's the bus driver's name? Put it in the chat.
Dr. Deborah says, I am a good listener in most circumstances. But to be honest, sometimes it depends on who's talking. In those times, I have to catch myself.
You're right. And it's not just because it's you. People can listen almost twice as fast as people can talk. So if you're boring, or if the person you listen to is boring, you got plenty of time to think about things other than what they're saying. You can think about what you're going to cook for dinner that night. Okay, think about the time, what kind of traffic, because they haven't captivated you yet. I haven't seen anybody put the name of the bus driver in the chat yet. And we got 1 minute before we get our submission this week from Brother Mark Greer, our inspirational speak. So what's the bus driver's name? I told the story. You said you listened. I'll tell you later if you don't put it in the chat.
How many of you can listen and talk at the same time?
None of us can.
So many of us think we can. So many of us think
I'm
we
listening
can.
and talk. Well, you're waiting for your turn to talk, is what that is. Okay, you listen completely. It's so interesting that we're talking about leadership and we're on the point of listening so much. Okay.
Well, that's one of the skills
Yeah,
of great
but
leaders.
that's not the only one. But it's certainly one of the skills of great leadership.
That's the secret skill. Glenda said, oh no, I didn't hear.
Well, I know you did hear. Okay, you did hear. How about this, Glenda? How many people were left on that bus? How many people were left on that bus? Put that in the chat. If you know how many people were left on the bus, put that in the chat too. Okay, it's 9:15, and we get every Wednesday at 9:15. We get a submission for up to 5 minutes or around 5 minutes from Mr. Mark Greer. He's an amazing inspirational speaker. Let's hear what Mark has to say this week.
Good morning to you, Empowerment Duo family. Here it is one more time, another edition of Wisdom Wednesday. A friend of mine was talking to me last night, and he was so depressed going on. I never would have imagined 15 minutes. I finally stopped him, and I asked him one question. Why are you letting external things that you can't control affect you internally, enter your mind, have you feeling a certain kind of way, to use your words, depressed? Because those things externally you can't control. And when you're worrying about things that you can't control, fail to control those things that you can. At the top of that list, your mind, your attitude, your gratification for simply being here. And he looked at me, he said, you know, years ago I had this bracelet that said WWJD.
What would you?
And we all know that meant, what would Jesus do? And as he espoused on that, he said, I look at the world today and I often wonder, what would Jesus do? And I looked at him in amazement and I laughed. And I said, man, come on. You already know what he would do. There was a whole entire book that told you what he did. But you just proved my point. You're worrying about things that are beyond your control. I said, let's take your same bracelet and let's change the letters just a little. Instead of WWJD, let's make it WWUD. What will you do?
Chewy Whitey.
Empowerment Duo family, that's my point and message for you this morning. At the end of the day, what will you do? If your current situation is not to your liking, what will you do?
Love it.
If your current circumstances aren't advantageous to you, what will you do? If the people that you have in your circle aren't fostering you to grow, aren't challenging you, aren't making you better, what will you do? It doesn't matter what goes on externally. It's what you have going on internally. And until you realize and know that you have to control this, life is going to be difficult. You will spend too much of your valuable time worrying about things that you can't control. They're beyond your ability to manipulate. But the one thing and the one person on this planet that you can control, that you can take to another level, that you can achieve greatness with, is you. And it comes down to, what will you do in order to maximize your potential, in order to maximize your greatness, in order to walk in your excellence. And if you're not going to do anything, don't complain about anything.
That's right.
Because at the end of the day, all roads lead back to you. So Empowerment Duo family, my encouragement, my hope, my prayer for you this morning is that you shake off whatever's been holding you down. It's that you free your mind of things that you can't control. You don't worry about what others do and what they don't do. you focus on what you can do. Because at the end of the day, yeah, WWUD, what will you do? That's all we have for today,
That's
everybody.
amazing.
As always, will you be a miracle? Will you be something special? Will you be a blessing? Empowerment Duo family, what will you do? We'll talk to you soon.
Peace. Love that message today. I absolutely love Mark's message. Particularly today's message was so powerful, but a simple message. It was not complex, but extremely powerful. Controlling what you can, not worrying about things you can't control. And the acronym WWYD, what will you do, is amazing. Let me we're gonna get your comments on Mark too. But Sister Glenda, you didn't fail, and you did hear the answer. The answer was Dr. Deborah. The answer was Alice, because I said, Glenda, let's say that you are a bus driver, and on your first stop, you pick up. On your second stop, you pick up. Your third stop, your fourth stop, get off of your bus. So what's the bus driver's name, Glenda? The bus driver's name, Glenda. What's the bus driver's name? Now, Glenda, the reason you knew that there were 5 people left on that bus is because even though I asked you to just listen, and I said the game starts right now, I said you don't need to write anything, just listen. You know there were 5 people left on the bus because you were doing math. Okay, you were doing math. I said 4. Okay, she did 4 plus 4 plus 2 minus 5. That leaves 5. You were doing that instead of following the story. But now that you've heard me say, let's say that you are a bus driver, your first stop, your second stop, it's easy for you to see and say that the bus driver's name was Glenda. That's all it takes. We forget as adults how to follow, or how to stay in the moment, We forget how to stay in the moment because we get accustomed to thinking ahead what we're going to say, or get accustomed to thinking about where are they trying to go, figuring them out instead of just staying in the moment. Thank you very much. And yes, Mark Greer's message was amazing again.
Amen. Dr. Beverly, I don't know who Alice is, but okay. Dr. Deborah says, yes, make a move. Thanks, Brother Mark. Absolutely. Dr. Deborah goes on to say, I tell myself, do something or no complaining, even if the thing I do is change the way I think about the situation.
And Mark's message again was particularly timely, even for me. It's so easy to get, because of what we ingest and what we consume, it's so easy to get very angry and discouraged about the things that are going on. When you see the ugliness and you see the pettiness and you see this, that, it's very easy. But Mark, in his loving way, reminded me, okay, Brian, what part of that can you change?
None. Is it not?
But I can work on me. Okay, what will I do? The way Mark put it out there. Thank you, Mark. What an amazingly timely message. Go ahead.
Is it not more poignant for us to realize that since we know the things that make us feel some kind of way, or since we know the things that incite us to anger, we know the things that give us fear, we choose our television that way, we choose our videos that way, we choose them for what it is that helps us to I'm getting lost because I'm reading here. Brother Mark said, I'm changing internet providers.
I'll read Mark's thing.
Okay. So why don't we then choose something that is going to put us in the right framework, the right energy? And why so often do we stay in viewing patterns or listening patterns or experiencing patterns that take us to places that we don't want to be at?
Richard Pryor's character in the classic movie The Mac. Why do they do that? Why do they do stuff that's not in their best interest? Why do we watch stuff that's going to make us angry? Because the game is strong. The game is strong. The pull, I found myself several times, okay, I could choose to bring in some more Jim Rome, or I could check CNN headlines. Oh, it's so compelling. I don't know what happened today because I know he did something else stupid or ugly. It's so compelling. The game is strong to bring you to ingest some negativity. So I'll just check the headlines. Then I check the headlines there. Oh, that's wild. I read that. Well, then what does this site say? And then what does that site say? Well, let me get an opposing view where they say. And next thing you know, I'm in that place I didn't want to go. Now I'm upset and angry. I can't believe this. Da, 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 da. And why can't I believe it? Mark, your message today was amazing, Mark Greer. It was super powerful in its simplicity. By the way, Mark, I know you didn't mean anything by it, and everyone has already corrected you. And the English language is jacked up. The English language is messed up with a lot of misspelled words and all that. But the word "you" is spelled with a Y, starts with a Y and not a U. Okay, it's not WWUD, it's WWYD. What will you do? I know you know that already, Mark. I know you know that already. But Mark Greer says, and I'm going to read this in Mark Greer voice. I'm changing internet providers in the next week or two. It's agitating me. My apologies for the choppiness. Well, any choppiness, Mark, we didn't see it. Okay. And even if it was choppy, your message is so strong and so compelling. We willingly and happily raise our hand to take the choppiness just to get your word. We'll take it. Tony Leak in the house. What's up, Tony? How you doing, sir? I'm glad he's in the house. Okay.
So so I'm gonna jump in because I just need to jump in. This my
It's time.
It could be WWYD or WWUD. You have creative license because you are the one who coined the phrase. So whichever one you prefer, please feel free.
Unless he needs to spell out the word.
No, it doesn't have to spell out the word. It could be the whole letter U in place of the word YOU. Like I love you. They often put the letter U. You can put that in if you want to. It's his choice. That's okay. There's probably a lot of things you've never seen.
That's true too. But I do love the message today, though. Lisa had your back too. She didn't want me to say how you spell it.
I didn't want you to say it at all.
I was
none of your
going
business,
for funny,
and it wasn't.
It was funny to me.
Good for you.
And that
Good morning, Tony.
Like the dirty joke. Did I tell a dirty joke here?
Dr. Beverly says humans are the only species that don't maximize their power.
Come on with it.
Trees grow, animals do what they're supposed to do. Even more powerful seasons change. But most of our default posture is of the spirit to settle. I declare and decree that this group will no longer settle. Settling is not an option. The question is what it is. The question is, what is your maximum potential? How high can you grow? Do that.
I agree, Dr. Beverly. That was amazing contribution. Thank you very much for it. But trees don't grow to the sky. They grow as high as trees can grow. And also, I love your thought. We're the only ones that do that because my brain immediately went to what animals don't do the best they can. Most of the animals are trying to survive, from the elephant to the shrew. They're all trying to survive. They're doing whatever they got to do to survive. They got to do whatever they got to do to get some food, all of that stuff. So, but she's right that as humans, we do have potential to do more, far more than what most of us do. And the spirit, I like how she put it, the spirit of settling. And settling is not an option anymore. The spirit of settling, because there's an expression by Dr. Anyway, it's going to come to me because I love this guy. But he says, we all are born originals. All of us are born as originals, but most of us die as a copy.
And spend our whole lives trying to be a copy of something else.
And we all try to be a copy. It's like society, school systems, and from kindergarten on, tries to get the students to act similarly. You get a lot of indoctrination on how to behave the right way. Good behavior was a category on my report cards growing up. Did he have good behavior in this class or that class? Good behavior. We're born originals, but we die as copies because we learn how everyone else does it.
I wonder what's going to happen in this latest generation.
Okay.
With regard that whole philosophy because right now we're sort of in the season of do you, raising our children to be their unique expressions of themselves. And I don't see anything wrong with the principle and the precept, but I think like with so many things when we're trying to fix what's been overlearned, we over unlearn it. And we go
the pendulum swings too far back.
Yeah.
The other way. The opposite, we overcorrect. The doctor I was thinking of that quote was Dr. Dennis Waitley. Dr. Dennis Waitley said, we're born originals, but most of us die as copies. Why?
Thank you, Dr. Beverly.
I'm the smart speaker. Just giving a count up.
Oh, interesting.
Yes.
Dr. Beverly, thank you. WWUD, what would you do? I love you. The letter Y, the letter U. Thank you very much.
Because I'm so pedantic, I'm gonna go with the WWYD.
Yeah, and that is it's definitely a personality type because I do have to navigate that oftentimes with the authors that I work with because the authors have the right to say or do or be whatever they want, right? But some of them are just saying something by habit, and some of them are saying something by intention. So it's so often that I have to, as the editor of their project, I have to marry what their intention is with what they're actually doing.
James Jeanette, how you doing, sir? James Jeanette is going to always have a special place in my heart. He lives in Texas right now. And if you go to his page, you'll see him with a bunch of cowboy hats and cowboy boots. He's cowboy now. But I met him in Greensboro. And I lived alone at the time. We worked at the same company. He had been there a little longer than me. And he was really good at what he did, too. Because I was growing fast to the company, too. They put him with me for like one day, so for him to kind of like coach me up for a little bit or something like that. But there was an opportunity. One of the people at the job, she was moving and she had some furniture to get rid of. And it was kind of heavy. James had a big old truck, pickup truck. And I don't even know how. I don't even know how I got him to agree to do it. But he was happy to help me. So it was just me and James. We rode this big old pickup truck to this lady's house. And we got this big old entertainment system from her. It was huge. We got it down. Of course, it was on the third floor. We got it down, and then we got it on this truck. And where I lived was on the second floor, but the stairs were outside. But it was still a lot of work. But me and James, just us two men, got that stuff done together. And we had a good time doing it. And we've been friends since 2013. I think that's when that was.
Yep, we overcorrect and threw the baby out with the bathwater.
That's a dirty expression. If you know where that expression came from.
Absolutely. So
Sharice Span is coming through. What's up, girl?
Good morning. Thank you for hitting those messages. Definitely want to continue to put these comments in. But so often overcorrecting is it's almost natural. Like you're trying to do your best, or even when we teach overcorrected behavior, right? It's often because we know the pain that was associated with it being done this way. And our sincere desire is to not have someone that we love experience the pain for believing it this way or doing it this way. And as a result, we push it all the way to the other side. I had the opportunity to watch last night, and this is one of the shows I can never watch more than one episode because it's too much for me. But I watched, what is that? What Will You Do? By the guy that waits for people to interact on the behalf of other people on the street.
Okay.
John Quinones. What would you do, right? And in this episode, there was the scene that is being set is that there's a mother out with her son, and they're at like a thrift place, right? They're at like a thrift place, and he's picking up some things for Easter for the after school party or whatever. He picks up a pink cowboy hat and a pink feather boa and puts it on with his jeans and his shirt. and he puts wings on his back. The boy is about 12 or 13 years old.
Okay.
And he says, "What about this, Mom?" And she says, "No, put that back. Boys don't wear that stuff. Boys don't play with that stuff. Boys don't dress up in pink, such and such and so and so." And this loving woman, I mean, the most loving bystander, came up and said to the boy, she said, "You know what? There may be nothing wrong with those choices, but I promise you, your mother only wants what she thinks is best for you. You might just have to wait a little bit of time to make the decision on your own, because right now you should respect your mother. But those choices are not necessarily wrong. They're simply not right for this moment."
And then Mom came on and said, "Mind your business," right?
She didn't do that, but she was taken aback because she was expecting to be, and she was the actress, so she was expecting to be admonished for talking to her son.
Which one was the actress?
The one that was saying, "Don't wear that,
Okay,
don't do that." She was the actress, and the other person interceded on the behalf of the boy, but still respected the mother.
I got it. Good morning, Jasmine Romaine. What's up, girl? Jazzing up your life. Jasmine Romaine is an amazing speaker as well, especially for women's groups and church groups. If you want to jazz up the event, Jasmine Romaine is a speaker that you might want to consider. Because she brings energy. Big time.
Dr. Beverly says, "Sounds like something Craig did for me. That's showing up and being there for you, right?"
And he doesn't live in the same state. So he came from another state and helped her.
I agree, Dr. Deborah. Thank you. She said that lady handled that well. She really did. She could have made it ugly. She could have made an ugly scene, but she knew that the correction that she was making was going to impact more than just that moment. She didn't want to disrespect the mother, but she wanted to validate the boy as well.
I had another real life scene that I saw yesterday that just warmed my heart. It was on a beach scene. There were a lot of beachgoers out there, and there was this family on the beach, and they were enjoying a mariachi style band. They had the instruments to include a tuba, and they were playing, and it seemed like a great scene. And this Karen comes over, says, "I don't want to hear any more of your music." And she's yelling, she's getting in their face. "Not one more note. Turn it off right now. I don't want to hear any of it." She's losing it. So they're like smiling at her. They're like, "Stop playing for a second, let her do her rant." And then they said, "Da, da, da," and they just started blasting it louder and like following her, like just surrounding her with the music. And she had to retreat. And it was just hilarious to me. And they kept it going too. But it was a beach scene. She had no reason to do that, but she felt because she was who she was, she can go and do that. And they entertained her for a moment and just let her have it. I thought it was great.
Miss Phyllis said, "I love that show, but it does make me upset sometimes." It absolutely does. I can usually only watch one episode. Period.
I'm not sure if it was on that show. I saw a scene like that where a guy was in the gym working out, and he saw there was another lady working out, and another gym bully came over and took her weights from her. And he saw this going on. You know, he like took the plate from her, and she was just standing there helpless. And he saw that. He went over and took it back from the dude and put it back there and stood up like, "You got a problem with that?" No, you know, he defended her in the gym, you know. I was like, cool scene. He didn't have to ask her no questions. He saw what he saw. He just went and handled it.
That's it. So often we don't step in. You know, so often we think in the back of our minds, "That's none of our business. That's none of my business." That's one of the things that John Quinones always comes out and says, "Why did you say anything? Why? This had nothing to do with you."
Because it's within you, yeah.
It's usually because a similar experience has happened in their lives and they wish that someone had stood up for them and that way, or they don't think that it was right. They don't think the treatment was right. But it's so important that even in listening, I felt like that the lady that was in that situation, even in listening, she was hearing both perspectives. And she was defending the boy while at the same time protecting the mother.
Yeah, that's a skill, actually. How do you do that? So today's topic is Wisdom Wednesday. Talk less, impact more. The secret skill of great leaders. It's 9:39. Do we have time for one today in Black History?
African American history on April the 9th We are going to be coming from 1916. The amazing Lucy Madden Smith founded All Nations Pentecostal Church in Chicago, Illinois, which she became the first woman in the city to transform the congregation into an established church. Known as Elder Smith, she was the first to broadcast her Sunday night services over radio.
How about that?
Later, the station aired her services on Sundays and Wednesdays. She was the first African American religious leaders to broadcast services on the air. She was. In 1933, she became a pioneer in gospel radio, exposing her ministry to wider audiences. She was the first in the city to mix gospel programming with appeals for the poor.
Does it say what city?
And that is in Chicago, Illinois, in 1916.
Amazing. Lucy, what's her name?
Lucy Madden Smith.
Lucy Madden Smith. A black woman, first off. A black woman in 1916. Think about what obstacles she must have had to overcome to do that.
There were multiple things that she had to overcome because, first of all, Pentecostal church wasn't necessarily having it for no whole bunch of women leaders, right? In the first place, but the country wasn't really ready for black anything, and then a black woman, and then a black woman leader of the church, and the forerunner of broadcasting for gospel online ministry. Come through, sister.
That's
girl.
Amazing. So I'm happy to share that story. It's 9:41.
Lucy Madden Smith.
9:41. This show you will watch this call. Let's talk about it. This is Dr. Lisa McNeill, and I'm Brian K. McNeill. That make it what's called the Empowerment Duo. This show is run by and driven by the comments section. We've been doing this Monday through Friday since October of 2016. And those of you who regularly contribute to the comment section, we thank you. And the way we thank you is with greeting songs and with greeting logos. So if you've never seen it done before, bear with us. It'll come through. For example, Miss Phyllis George is up first. She has a greeting logo and it goes like this. Miss Phyllis is here.
Miss Phyllis.
So clear the way. Miss Phyllis is here. Now we can all have a great day. Good morning, Miss Phyllis.
Good morning, Miss
Next
Phyllis.
is Mr. Uzama Ra. He's got a song too.
Bitcoin King, he's the Bitcoin King. Uzama, Bitcoin King, he's the Bitcoin King. Uzama.
Good morning, Mr. Uzama Ra. Dr. Deborah Dunstan's got a song too.
Dr. Deborah, nonprofit strategist and funding coach.
Miss Fushina Kirkendall. There's a song that just came to mind. It was called Oh Sheila. And the beat is Oh Sheila. Oh Sheena. Yes. Oh Sheena. Oh Sheena. I wonder if she likes that.
Dr. Beverly is on the show.
Dr. Beverly has a logo that goes, Dr. Beverly is on the show. Good morning, Dr. Beverly. And good morning to you and the rest of your crew. Good morning, Dr. Beverly. Victoria Green, KT Green, she got a song that goes, back to life. Back to Victoria Green.
How do you want it?
How do you need it? Good morning to Sister Victoria Green. And she really is our sister too. Some of you guys know her because she and her husband have substituted for Lisa and I a few times actually.
We need to have them back. I can use a break, bro.
Sheila Gothard's got a song too.
Sheila. Storms are brewing in her eyes.
Oh, that's Sheila Gothard's greeting song. Wait a minute, that seems like fun. I want me a greeting song. You can get one. Here's how you get a greeting song. Be a regular contributor. What's a contributor? Someone who puts stuff in the comment section like Jay Mattier does. He's got a song too. His song goes like this. Get ready. Get ready. Oh, get ready. Get ready, because here Jay comes. Get ready, till Jay comes. Get ready, till Jay comes. Good morning, Jay Mattier.
Good morning, Jennifer. Good morning, good morning, good
morning. And it's Jennifer.
Glenda, thank you.
Glenda, you keep coming through. You're going to get you a song, Glenda.
Absolutely, absolutely. Uzama. Did we do the Bitcoin thing? Yeah,
the
we
second
did.
one we
Jim.
did today.
Absolutely, absolutely. We got Miss Phyllis, Dr. Deborah,
Mark Greer
Brother
has a song
Mark.
too. Mark Greer's song goes like this. So wide you can't get around it.
So low, you
So hit me in the
can't
face.
get
So high you can't get over it. Mark Greer is under a groove. He's getting down just for the funk of it. Mark Greer is under a groove. Nothing can stop us now. Tony Lee, we got to get you a dance song. You deserve one.
Rah! He went, Tony the Tiger, you're great. Thank you, Tony. Thank you for coming through.
Shirley Dejanette Wyatt's in the house. She got a song too, and she goes, Shirley Dejanette Wyatt will rock you, rock you. Shirley Dejanette Wyatt will rock you, rock you. What is Dr. Deborah talking about here?
She said, that's amazing. Kudos to her. Talking about the
oh yes, Miss Lucy Maddox
Smith. They're founding the
Lucy
All
Maddox
Nations
Smith
Pentecostal Church in Chicago, Illinois.
in 1916.
Yep.
Mr. George Allen is here, also known as Chef Rev. You're in time, bro. He's got a logo too, and it goes like this. Why must I cook like that? Why not hire Chef Rev?
He puts the good food in me.
Nah. Good morning, Chef Rev. How you doing? And Shirley Dejanette White also says, have a blessed day, everyone. Everyone? Everyone. So that's what we came to talk about today. The topic again was Wisdom Wednesday, talk less, impact more, the secret skill of great leaders. Talk less and impact more, the secret skill. And I like we call it a skill.
You gotta be the loudest one. And you can develop it if you don't have it. And you can understand the reasoning behind it, because sometimes the understanding of the reasoning will allow you to have more wherewithal with
Lisa
it.
just said you don't have to be the loudest one. I'm reminded of a time where I had won a sales contest for a big company, and they took all the area winners from around the country. They took us on a trip to Vegas. All the top salespeople took us to Vegas. And all the ones that were in my area, I was in Raleigh, North Carolina at the time. There was like maybe 6 of us in the area that got on this trip, to include the owner of the company and it was 2 brothers on the company, the co-owners of the company, and some of their leadership was on the plane too. And the loudest person on the plane was one of the co-owners going there. He was loud and boisterous and making jokes and laughing. He was loud the whole time. The loudest one coming back was the same guy. And the loudest one in the lobby was the same guy. Everyone had to pay attention to him. And I got a chance to talk to him. And he was one of the most insecure people I'd ever talked to. He was so concerned about what other people thought of him. He was so concerned that they recognized that he was doing good in business and mattered to him so great. What are people saying about me? What do people talk about me? He was so insecure, but he was the loudest one.
Hey, Vicki, good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Mm-hmm. So
actually the thing that I was trying to think of earlier was I just lost it again. It was about talking. It was about not talking, and I can't remember the saying right now. It is open your mouth and prove it to them.
Okay. I think I know which one you're going, because there are a lot of expressions about talking, but I think you're going along the lines of they don't know if you're smart or dumb or something like that, but when you open your mouth, you reveal to the world who you really are.
That's one of them. Hey, Vicki, but that wasn't the one I was thinking, but that'll work in the pin. Vicki says, good morning. Hope you all have an amazing day.
Thank you, Vicki. And you got a song too.
Evans rocks. Steady rocking all night long. Vicki Evans rocks. Steady rocking to the break of. Rocking to the break of dawn, y'all.
Vicki Linnell Evans, thank you very much for coming in. The thought of talking less and impacting more. I wonder how that shows up in your life.
She says allergies have her moving at a slow pace today.
Allergies are kicking a lot of people butt.
Allergies are allergen right now.
They're kicking a lot
The
of people
spring
butt.
is springing. How many cars are coated? How many of y'all have a yellow car right now? Everybody got a yellow car.
I can't stand it, but and then the rain is coming too. So you want to go to the car wash, and then it rains. Right away, and waste the car wash and all that stuff. We're in a funny time period, but allergies, like this just said, be allergying right now, and pollen is crazy right now.
George Allen says, those that talk don't do, and those that do don't talk.
Right. Yeah. People who talk about it, I've heard it said that way. First off, I appreciate the simplicity of the brilliance of it. People that talk don't do, and those that do don't talk. Okay, they don't have to because they're doing it. People who tell a lot of war stories about how good they used to be and how good their life used to be and how successful they used to be, normally that's the indicator that they probably haven't done very much because they're not doing much now.
That most of their success is in the past.
Like those adults that peak in high school, their whole life peaked when they were the quarterback of a high school football team.
Dr. Buffy said, my car is yellowish high green.
Yeah.
I know that's right. I think we all got the same car.
We have great weather
models
here, but in the Wednesday morning mastermind, several people that were in the mastermind are up in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's cold there.
One dude said they had -16 the other day. Another guy said they had 8 inches of snow this past Sunday. Here it is Wednesday. They just had 8 inches of snow.
I know. I was actually in a Zoom the other day with someone that was wearing a wool scarf in the house around their neck. And I was like, what?
So
they were cold.
I let them say all they had to say. And I said, you do realize you could live in Florida or the Caribbean or Puerto Rico if you wanted to, right? You can move. Why do that?
Because Canada has some amazing benefits aside from the weather. But
free healthcare is one. No guns, very little violence, no mass shootings. Okay, none of that happens in Canada.
So I guess people believe that is the benefit, one of the pros and cons against or for the weather. I'll deal with these -6 degrees.
Yeah, I'll deal with the snow.
Yeah, and I don't have to deal with.
But if they injure their knee or something like that, they can go to the hospital and get it repaired and not have to come out of pocket like that. They have a whole lot better family leave when someone gets sick or pregnant. They got a whole lot better policy than us. Okay, so there are some advantages. It's 9:52. It's time for us to get out of here.
We appreciate hanging out with you. You can believe it, tomorrow, Thursday.
Thankful Thursday.
Thankful Thursday and Think Tank Thursday. We are out of the building on Thursday in the Concord, North Carolina area. We look forward
if you're in the Concord Mills area of North Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina area, and if you want to network in person, want to meet us and other amazing adults at 1 p.m. on Thursday. This is every Thursday now. At 1 p.m., we're going to facilitate a meeting there where we're going to have a think tank style where we collaborate, but we also get an amazing speaker and we have amazing networking. This week, we have a special speaker. This week, our speaker is none other than Dr. LisaSantiagoMcNeilll, and she's going to talk about how to establish yourself as a subject matter expert, how to establish your credibility. That's what she's going to talk about, and she's going to be the lead speaker tomorrow, and I'm excited about it.
So Shirley says the summers are beautiful in Colorado Springs. Beautiful. Dr. Deborah says, have a great day, everyone. Amen. Have a great day. We love you guys. And in the meantime, in between time, don't forget to have sex.